Hey guys, TechDude731 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Dell Inspiron 13 7000 series. This is a 2-in-1 laptop and is in the 7000 series Inspiron lineup, making it the highest end consumer notebook before the XPS models. This model here is the 13-inch version and features an aluminum body and a display that rotates 360 degrees to enable the laptop to convert into a tablet. The aluminum body definitely gives this laptop a premium feel that looks very appealing and is of high quality. Now let's take a quick look around the laptop. Along the left side we have a DC in port, a USB 3.1 Type-C port that does not support Thunderbolt but does allow you to charge the laptop through it if you so choose, and also supports DisplayPort out. Further down from that we have an HDMI port, as well as a regular USB 3.0 Type-A port. And finally, a 3.5mm combo headphone microphone jack. Along the front edge we have a nice slight curve in the middle to allow you to open the display, and a charging indicator light in the middle of it. Along the right side we have the power button and volume adjustment located here to make it easier to access while in tablet mode, and above that an SD card slot, as well as another USB port. Unfortunately this one is only 2.0. This brings me to my first complaint. While it is only minor, I'm not a huge fan of the power and volume button placements, as I find when moving the laptop in laptop mode you can hit it accidentally, and I haven't hit the power button to turn it off, but I have hit the volume button a few times while doing this. However, I definitely think that you can get used to it, and as I said, this is just a minor complaint. On the inside of this laptop, you'll find the latest Intel Core i5 or i7 Kaby Lake CPU. My configuration has the i5-7200U, as well as 8GB of RAM, which is user upgradable, and there are 2 DIMM slots. It also has an Intel HD 620 integrated graphics across all CPU configurations. Besides that, this laptop starts base model with a 256GB SSD, which happens to be a SanDisk Z400, which is also upgradable using an M.2 slot. However, I should mention that it is using the SATA 3 interface and not the faster PCIe. In terms of build quality, this laptop is solid. With a full aluminum body, there is very little to no flex in the display or in the keyboard deck. The hinges are also solid, which is a must since you can fold the display all the way back into tablet mode. However, you do lose out on the ability to lift the display with a single finger, since the hinges are stiffer. Once we open the display, we find a keyboard with a fairly standard layout, no major changes which I can complain about. I should note that the keyboard has a slightly shallower key travel than other laptop, but I did not notice a big difference except when comparing it side by side with other laptops. And it is definitely not as bad as the new MacBook keyboard. Other than that, the keyboard is pleasant to type on and the keys are responsive and have quite a bit of tactile feedback. The keyboard is also backlit with 2 brightness options. Below the keyboard is the touchpad, slightly off-center, located in line with the spacebar. I feel like it is a good size for this laptop, and does track well, although Dell is using the standard Windows 10 touchpad driver, so there's not too much configuration that can be done in the settings. It does, however, support multi-touch, which is definitely a bonus in Windows 10. Moving on to the display, it is a 1080p IPS display with good viewing angles. I do not have any advanced calibrating equipment, but find the display more than accurate for everyday use, with good contrast, and my one complaint being it could be slightly brighter. The laptop has a 720p webcam that is not amazing, but definitely usable, and beside it, a feature you don't see too often, an infrared camera used only for facial recognition for Windows Hello. This works surprisingly well and is usually faster than entering a PIN or password, and does work regardless if it is dark in the room. Of course, this laptop being a convertible means the display also opens up to 360 degrees to give you some different ways to interact with it. The touchscreen does not support any pen input, other than just a regular capacitive stylus, which works on any touchscreen device, but I don't really recommend these, as they're not very accurate and provide little benefit to your fingers. Taking a look at some benchmarks put this laptop pretty much where you would expect something with these specs to lie, with performance more than good enough for everyday use, and even some lighter, casual games. In Cinebench R15, we saw a CPU score of 313 for an i5-7200U, and an OpenGL graphics score of 36.12 frames per second. In 3D Mark Firestrike, we saw a score of 702, meaning while it probably will not be capable of playing the newest AAA titles at full resolution, you can do some light gaming and play some older games, and might be able to play the odd AAA title with the settings and resolution turned down. Finally, for our SSD score, read speeds were quite good with around 500 megabytes per second, and somewhat slower write speeds around 350 megabytes per second. Although upgrading the SanDisk Z400 with even the fastest SATA 3 SSD available would not provide too much of a noticeable day-to-day improvement. The 7th generation Kaby Lake CPUs offer only around a 10 to 15% improvement for both processing and graphics performance, but also provides improvements such as lower power consumption. As for the battery, for my general everyday use, I found the battery to be enough to get you through an entire day, assuming you're mainly using it for productivity and web browsing. On a video playback test, I was able to get slightly over 6 hours with the brightness around half. It is not quite as long as some of the highest end laptops, but definitely not bad or a deal breaker at all. In conclusion, this laptop, while it may not have every feature under the sun, like Thunderbolt 3, PCI Express SSD, and I do have some minor complaints, such as the inclusion of a USB 2.0 port rather than a 3.0, only about average battery life, and a display that, while bright enough for everyday use, may not be enough for outdoor use or in very brightly lit areas. However, when you take into consideration the price of $750 US or around 1100 Canadian, you could do a lot worse for your money. This laptop is a great all-around choice, and I can recommend it if you're looking for a high-end thin and light that feels premium while costing less than other similarly spec'd options. Thank you guys for checking out this video. If you liked this video, feel free to hit that thumbs up down below, leave a comment if you have one, and subscribe for more videos.